Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to Tennis channel, and today I'm with Brandon again.
And what are we testing today?
So we got the whole new Pure Drive.
The Pure Drive lineup, the 100 square inch, which is like the one everyone's usually buys, the Pure Drive 100. But we also have the new Pure Drive 98, which I believe is a 1620 string pattern
It's
now.
a 1620.
Yeah.
Right?
So following their Aero 98 and they also their Strike 1620. So now they have a 1620 in all their lineups.
And here we have the new Ezone 2025. So it's the version 8. We also got the 100 here and the 98 here. So both are the power line from each brand. So we're gonna see how it compares.
Yeah, we're gonna play with the Pure Drive first because we've already played a bit with the Ezones.
Yeah.
So we're quite familiar. But we're gonna try out the Pure Drives, see how they feel, and then we'll compare them with like the power lineup from Yonex, and we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, but one thing is that the strings, we cannot change the strings.
Yeah.
So yeah, we got the RPM team
on these
the
two.
Drive.
RPM team is used by Alcaraz now after he switched from Blast. But it's tension's not in the greatest shape, but we can still test. Yeah, it should be fine.
And this one is 50 as well, but this one is Polytour Pro.
Yeah. So it's usually the recommended string on the Babolat racket and the recommended string on the Yonex rackets.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we'll test it out and we'll be back on the court.
All right, we just finished playing with the
Pure
new
Drive
line of Pure Drive and the Ezone 2025. So let's go over the Pure Drive first.
Sure.
Okay. So what do you think about this update?
So I started with the 98, but I have also not played with the Pure Drive VS or the 98 that came out after that. But from what I've heard, they have changed this quite a fair bit from those rackets. So the Pure Drive 98 is a 1620 now, as we said in the introduction. We also measured the swing weights. This one was 317, and this was the Pure Drive 100 was 310.
Yeah.
I started with the 98, Tan started with the 100. The 98 to me, even though like I play at a swing weight usually around like 330 or higher, this 317 felt a bit sluggish to me. If you have a C swing, like in your backswing, like it just feels a little bit.
Is a loop like this.
Yeah. So like it just feels a little bit more difficult to get it going from like the pet the dog, like the drop position. Like it takes a bit more, and it feels like there's quite a bit of weight in the throat for some reason.
Yeah.
And when you hit it like on time, like you can really plow through the ball. But like what I feel is that it's just a little bit sluggish through the air. Like you really have to like put in the effort to really like drive the ball. Even though like the power levels from this racket is high, definitely is stiff. Like I don't feel a lot of dampening on this racket. Like after the warm up, like 10 minutes in, it wasn't causing me elbow pain, but I could feel like the stiffness. Like it's definitely at least like a high 60s, low 70 RA kind of a racket. Between this, like after that, I tried the 100. The 100 feels a lot easier to play. Like I think we said that we can totally understand why like the Pure Drive 100 has been such a popular racket.
Yeah.
Like it really, at 310 swing weight, it still crushes the ball. Like you don't need to add lead on this for it to be powerful.
You don't need plow on this racket.
Yeah.
It's like the racket itself gives you decent power that you can just go with the stock form.
It really just crushes the ball. Double-handed backhand feels really good on this racket. I still wouldn't recommend it for single-handed backhand players. Feels a bit clunky as a single-handed racket, both these rackets. But on the double-hander, it really if you hit flat backhands, like you like to drive through your backhands a lot, you're gonna like the Pure Drive 100. I think it's a solid improvement. To me, it doesn't feel as stiff as 98.
For me, it's the same.
It's the same?
Yeah.
But like compared to like the last model, like the last Pure Drive 100, I feel this is a little bit more comfortable.
Yeah,
the last one
I agree
was,
with that.
For me, like it was actually like very stiff. Like without like natural gut, without like a softer string, it just felt too jarring. But a lot of people still like that. So if you liked that and you want it like a little bit more comfortable without it feeling like muted or dampened, like pretty solid option. I don't think it's that muted. I feel quite connected to the ball with the frame.
Yeah.
What about you?
I think the feel is more, I would say, subtle. They make it less hollow. The last version is very stiff and hollow. This one, it feels a little bit better.
Yep.
Yeah, a little bit softer. I wouldn't say soft because the racket itself doesn't flex
Yeah,
at all.
when you hit here, like you don't feel any flex in the throat or the hoop at all.
It's not like a head flex or
exactly
like Wilson flex.
No aesthetic.
There is no flex.
No
in this
aesthetic
racket,
in this. Yeah.
But at the compact, the response that you get is a little bit softer, more comfortable. And I think the 100, weirdly enough, it's more whippy than the 98.
Yeah,
as you said.
Possibly because of the 7 swing weight difference, like between the two. 7 swing weight plus also for us, the 100 doesn't feel like it has like some extra weight here that makes it difficult for it to like get going like at the turn. Like when you get like tip flip on your racket, like some people get that like if they've got a more extreme grip, like it's harder to go from here. Like if you have a sinner type swing into like your lag position, it just doesn't do it that easily. But if you've got like a more compact like stroke and you want to drive through the ball, like this is pretty good.
I think this one is easier when you want to use your wrist a lot. Like
it's whippier. It's definitely whippier.
Flip it very easy. And yeah, I think it's the 100 square inch racket that is easy to play with.
Easy to recommend to people.
Yeah, maneuverable, good.
Yeah,
good maneuverable. You can just like run around the court and hit a big forehand.
Correct.
Back to your opponent.
If you're just a pure power player and you like to just like bully your opponents from the baseline, like the pure drive is always going to be as good as it gets, you know?
Yeah.
Like in the power line, it crushes the ball even at 310 swing weight. Like I don't think you need to customize this to get more out of it. Maybe you could get a heavier ball with a bit more swing weight, but like if you're just driving through the ball, like nothing beats a pure drive.
This is enough. The spin is good.
The spin is quite good. Definitely not an arrow, but you can get the launch when you need to. 1620 a little bit less. This one's a little bit less compared to that one.
This one, the launch angle is lower.
Yeah.
And the spin is not like compared to the Pure Aero 98.
Yeah, exactly.
I prefer Pure Aero 98 like over this one.
Yeah, I would use the Aero 98 over the Drive 98 like any day of the week.
Yeah, and Aero 98 also feels like more whippy as well.
Yeah, but what about Aero 100 versus
as low as this one?
Pure Drive 100?
I think this one is more maneuverable than the Aero 100.
Yeah.
Yeah. But the 98, the arrow is more maneuverable.
Yeah. Kind of strange, but it's not a racket I would switch to because it's not my kind of racket. But I can understand why the Pure Drive has been like a perennial bestseller. Like why it, like whenever Pure Drive gets released, like 100,000 people are buying it because it really is a good racket. Like if you're just looking for a good, solid power racket and you don't want to think too much, get the Pure Drive. But make sure that you don't play with it until the strings are dead because the stiffness is going to get to your arm if you're using dead poly strings.
That's pretty good sum up.
Yeah.
All right, and now the new Ezone 2025.
I mean, I think you should wrap up like what you've done a video on this already, right? So what were your overall like opinions on the rackets?
The new Ezone, it's more comfortable for sure, like compared to the last version. I think the spin is a little bit less. You can get more like pace on the ball. If you want to hit flat, the ball goes a little bit faster.
Right.
But I think that's probably because it provides less spin on the ball and because it's more muted. So you want to like drive through the ball more to get that feel.
Okay.
I think that's probably the reason that you can hit harder with this one. Probably not because of the racket itself. So the Ezone 98 and the 100 is very different type of racket.
Yes.
So the Ezone 98 is a more of a whippy racket, a more control but still have decent power. The 100 is a pure power racket. You get a high launch. It's a bit launchy. You get a lot of topspin on this one.
Yeah, I agree with that.
The 98, not so much. More of a flat hitter, but for the 100, a lot of topspin. Compared to the Pure Drive, what do you think? 100 first, okay.
100 first? Okay, they are both power rackets, but they deliver it a little bit differently to me. I think the Pure Drive 100 is more whippy than the Ezone 100.
I agree with that.
But the Ezone 100 has more of like a trampoline kind of power punch to it. It's not like a stiffness that like just drives through the ball. It feels a little bit softer than the last one to me. I think the last Ezone 100 was like the king of stability. It had super high twist weight. Swing weight was like quite standard, like 310 to 315 in stock form, but the twist weight was really high. So which meant that like at the point of contact, it really plowed through the ball really well. It didn't twist over here like when you are making contact with the ball. So if you were like trying to drive from the baseline or you're trying to push people back, it was a very solid frame. This year, it feels just a little bit softer than last year. I think they brought the twist weight down slightly from the last version. that either is QC or could just be like what they intended to do with it. But you can get a bit more launch on it, I feel.
Yeah.
Like if you want a launch angle, you can definitely get it from the Ezone 100. And the power, it's like really like a nice pop to it. Versus like the pure drive is just bam. Like it just drives through the ball. It's not really like, you don't feel it like sitting on your string bit and then like sending out. It just crushes the ball.
Yeah,
the Ezone
this
100,
one have a more like
yeah,
real time,
like
right?
it's got a pocketing
More
and then a
pocketing.
pop. I think it's very usable for a lot of people, but similar thing. Like it's not as whippy as the Pure Drive 100, so it suffers from the similar problem like that we said. Like it's hard to get the flip happening. Like if you have more of like a compact like here and then go kind of a swing, or like a WTA style forehand,
Yeah.
it's going to serve you really, really well. But if you have like a even like next gen, like you have a lot of whip, a lot of wrist action, or a lot of like tip
Yeah.
flip, it's a little bit harder to connect with the ball properly. Like
Yeah,
it's not gonna,
because the weight is around here a lot,
yeah,
and it's hard to get this to come to this position in time.
yeah,
Yeah, so yeah, I think you're right. So it's like the WTA swing
Yeah.
that you go from here to here and
yeah.
just here.
Or just like a
Or like
compact
very
forehand,
compact.
here, drop, hit, that's
Yeah.
it. You know, if you have like a bit of a C or like more loopy swings, like you might not like the 100 that much. But it's also I think it's gonna be really good on defense for compact strokes. Like if you're just punching the ball back, you're counter punching with it.
Yeah,
The stability.
but you have to like no backswing.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
I only hit like 50%. It's already enough for
Yeah.
the power. So I think it's gonna be a very good racket for a lot of people.
Yeah.
Maybe for coaches as well.
Correct.
If you want to 6 hours a day.
And continental grip, if you're just feeding balls
Yeah.
and you need something that just you can put the ball like deep if you need to feed balls. Yeah, Ezone 100 is gonna be a great racket for that.
What about the feel? Do you think this one is a lot more comfortable than the Pure Drive?
I think the RA is definitely lower. I mean, last year's one felt a little bit stiffer than this. Last year's one to me felt like a 68, 67-ish. This feels more like a 64, 65. It could be the PTP also. Like,
Oh yeah.
I
probably.
would have to try it with a stiffer string, like before I would really know whether it's a lot stiffer, because the PTP is a soft string.
Yeah.
You know. But I think overall the Ezone lineup, they definitely like focused on giving you that power with that kind of comfort. Because I played with the 98 too, with the PTP, and then like Polytour Pro, Yonex string. And the other day, like I used his version of the Ezone 98, which has Turbite Soft on it.
Yeah.
And like it definitely feels more comfortable.
But the 2x soft on my racket is thinner gauge.
Oh, okay.
So that's probably
Right.
why it's softer. Yeah.
Like I said, I think if you're asking like overall like Ezone 100 versus Pure Drive 100, Ezone 100 is definitely like a more comfortable feeling racket.
Yeah, and
know?
more forgiving as well.
Yeah.
Like on the Pure Drive 100, if you hit out of the sweet spot, it's really stiff.
You're gonna feel
Yeah.
it. The ball's still gonna go over, and it's still gonna be pretty powerful. But
Yeah.
your arm is not gonna
But
like it.
you're gonna
Yeah,
feel it.
exactly. So don't string this too high. Like really, don't string the 100 too high.
Okay, what about the 98?
Okay, I played with the 98 more on like what was it? It was Tuesday when I first tried it.
Yeah.
You played with it for a while. I hit with you for like half an hour, and then I played like 3 sets of doubles with it. I don't feel like it's a whole lot different from the last gen. Like the Minilon and whatever technology they've put inside makes it a little bit softer, feels a little bit better. But in terms of like the way it plays from the last version,
Right.
I don't feel like a lot has changed.
Yeah, it's
Except
not
the
that
color.
different, like the playability.
Exactly, yeah.
And the feel.
correct.
The feel is a little bit different.
Yeah,
But the way it plays, the way it swings, it's exactly the same. I think.
yeah.
Yeah.
If you liked the old one and you wanted it maybe a little bit more comfortable, you'll love this one. And for me, I honestly play pretty well with Ezones, like the Ezone 98. I don't like playing with it. I can't explain to you why, but it's not a racket that I would switch to. But does it perform well? Generally, yes. Serves were pretty good with it. Net game is pretty maneuverable for a 98. It's not clunky to swing with. Definitely easier to maneuver than the 100. Like a lot easier to maneuver than the 100. Backhands whether you're spinning it or driving it, also really good. I don't have too many complaints about it.
Yeah.
Honestly, it's
Do you
a
think it
well-rounded
Do
racket.
you think it needs customization?
I personally would. Like I feel like I could get more pop out of the ball. Like I don't want like just pure like Ezone 100 kind of power on the ball. I usually add a bit of weight at 12 because I want it to rip over the ball to get it spinning downwards a little bit more aggressively. But in stock form, I think most like 4.0s, most intermediate players, like they're gonna have a good time with the Ezone. Like it's gonna sell well unless you hate the color.
I think it's a player racket that is
Yeah.
very user friendly,
Mm-hmm.
very whippy,
Yeah.
and because of that, because its headlight, it can go with many different kind of strokes.
Yes.
Even though you
Absolutely.
have like a big take back or you have a compact swing or like
Yeah.
wristy swing, it works on all of that. And you already know the Ezone is a little bit more power than its competitors. So yeah,
Yeah.
it's really like an all-round racket. You don't have many complaints about this one except the feel,
Correct.
right?
I mean, I prefer the Ezone 98 over the Pure Drive 98. 100%.
Me too.
Yeah.
So the 98, I think we agree that we prefer the Ezone
Yeah.
98. But on the 100,
It's subjective. It really depends on like the kind of player you are.
yeah,
How do you hit the ball, and like, yeah, your swing path, like the type of swing that you have, the grip that you have, like it all is going to play a part in helping you decide which one's like the better power
yeah.
model for you. Yeah. But
But for me, I think I prefer the Pure Drive 100.
if
over
I
the
if
Ezone.
I could restring this often, which I would if I used it, like yeah, I would prefer the Pure Drive 100 too. It's honestly quite addictive. Like I know why so many people like buy this to play with a Pure Drive. Like it really does feel quite nice to hit with. It's not soft, but like when you want power, it's like power on tap, you know?
Yeah, stability is good
Yeah.
as well
It's like
for like 310 swing weight.
correct.
So it's like you got a low swing weight racket, stable, and you can just rip the ball
Yeah.
with a lot of power.
Like even
and
when
swing.
I'm like running and going in open stance,
Yeah.
like I still feel like I could hit the crap out of the ball from a different part of the court.
Yeah.
Not even when you're just completely on balance.
On
But
the
yeah.
Ezone 100, in the same situation, you're gonna like blast the ball out.
Yeah. It's like that pocketing and that trampoline might just feel like a bit too much.
Yeah.
You know? I think it's a good upgrade from both companies. Like I think it's a good improvement. I don't think the Ezone is like a gigantic change from
Yeah.
the past, except the color, which you either like it or you hate it. It depends. But if you really like the last Ezone, and like I said, you want something that with a little bit better feel for the 98, definitely pick
A
it
little
up.
bit more comfortable.
Yeah, it's a good choice for you. If you are Ezone 100 user from the last generation and you loved the stability and the pop, I don't think you need to upgrade. I think you can stick to the last one for sure. Like it's not, it feels different, but it might not be different in the way that you like it if you liked the last generation. It's not worse off. It's just different. Like it
Yeah.
delivers it in a different way. But
So,
yeah,
so if you ask, do you need to like buy the new one? I don't think you need to.
yeah,
It's like you can play with the 2022
Yeah.
version. Yeah.
and many
It's
people will be
pretty
holding on
much
to the
the
black
same.
ones.
Unless you want to have that more comfortable on your arms. Yeah. And the color.
On the Pure Drive side, I can't speak enough for the 98 because I didn't play the last generation, but I personally wouldn't switch to this 98.
Yeah.
Like if you force me to switch to a Pure Drive, I'm taking the 100 every day of the week, right?
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
But for the Pure Drive, if you're using the 2021 version,
Yeah.
and you ask if you need to upgrade to this one, I think you got more maybe motivation to
Yeah, you're getting
buy
more
the new one.
value
Yeah.
for buying the new one
Yeah.
compared to like the Ezone doesn't feel like a huge step,
Yeah.
right? This Pure Drive feels like they managed to make the feel slightly better, but they maintained all the good aspects of a Pure Drive that you know and love.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah.
And more comfortable as well, which
Exactly.
is very important on the Pure Drive because it's so stiff.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I think pretty much it for today.
Yeah. What do we have coming up?
We're gonna have a 98 playtest.
Yeah, so we're gonna do a Ezone 98,
Ezone
VCore 98,
Yeah.
and the Gravity
Gravity
Tour
98.
98. Yeah, with the
Blade 98 maybe.
Play 98. Yeah, maybe we'll put that in. You can put in a comment section maybe like what other 98 you want to see being compared with these new ones. But yeah, we'll take that into consideration and then we'll have more content coming your way.
All right. Thank you for
Stay
watching.
tuned.
Yeah.